dying of thirst because we didn't want to have to stop and pee. Dad and Jenna over there, you guys are ready to go, and here we go. finally made it down to just south of Ensenada in Baja, California. We took us about 36 hours from leaving Atlanta, Georgia to drive all the way to Yuma, Arizona. We were driving for 34 of the hours. We tried to find a place to sleep last night in some little sand dune park that had a picnic table. We thought we'd sleep on the picnic table, but it was like 20-something mile-an-hour winds, and it was hot, and it was windy, and it was covering us in sand. It was too windy to set up the tent, and we just kind of... I rolled over, and I looked up, and Dad was sitting there on the table, and I was like, you ready to just get going driving again? So we got back in the truck, and we just started driving. Got unloaded in Yuma, Arizona. There's Dad's machine. There's the tents. Holly's sitting over there. We found a cool little camping spot. We unloaded in Yuma, drove down, crossed the border in the machines. Of course, I got GoPro footage of all this. I want to do a YouTube of everything that we did. Coming down number 2, let's see, it was probably 115 down in the valley. It was the most miserable hot I have probably ever experienced. They're open cab machines. If you moved your hand on the steering wheel to a different spot, it burned. I mean, everything was just scalding hot. Absolutely the most miserable heat-wise I've probably ever been in my entire life. Same thing with Dad. We're Georgia boys. We see 100, maybe like one day a year for like an hour or 2. So that was a new thing for us. We ended up coming through, we missed our turn, ended up coming through Tijuana, dang it. And we ended up coming through Tijuana at 6 o'clock, so we hit rush hour traffic, so that was fun. All that, we're not even 48 hours into our trip, and we are now in Baja, California, in the Maverick cars. You can see Jenna's getting ready to go shower. Holly's sitting there drinking tequila, which we filled up the water bottle for that. We're gonna heat up our chicken tenders on there. Got all of our stuff. I need to get some more ice for the cooler tomorrow since it's all melted. Here's the tents. Dad's set up. We are still running Starlink as well, which has done great. This is the reason that I will be able to post this while we're driving. So this is the Starlink Gen 3 kit. I will unplug it so it doesn't kill my battery overnight. I didn't have enough time to zip tie all the wires. Wi-Fi routers in here. I've got just a blue Ethernet cord that runs up to the Gen 3 kit, and then coming off of an SAE 2-pin in here, I've got a 12 volt to 58 volt power inverter, and then we run over and up into the router. So sort of an interesting one with the Gen 3 kit is it has a separate power supply, so you can remove the power supply, whereas with the Gen 2 the power supply was inside of the router. So the beauty of the Gen 3 kit for this is, one, sucker's flat, so I've got it strapped on there. Did not like 70 miles an hour, but was okay driving 10-15 miles an hour through town. And I can do my own power supply feeding it so that I'm able to run it all off of a 12 volt system. So it's late, it's been a long day. We really didn't sleep last night. So we're gonna shower, eat our chicken tenders, drink some tequila, go to bed. Y'all have a good one. Holly. Go run into the water.
Let's go.
It actually feels great right now. Almost need a sweatshirt and Dad got wet. That sucks. Play the game of chicken with the waves. Alright guys, I want to welcome you to Baja, California, where we have finally made it out here in the Can-Am Maverick R's. And we've gone down enough to start to see the beach. We're going to run the coastline. Yesterday we came through and just kind of took care of the, driving through the city part. Now is when the adventure begins. This is when the beautiful part of exploring Baja starts. And I'll show you behind me. It is just a gorgeous valley we came through. You can see our machines all loaded up. Dad's getting ready to do a TikTok on his as well. Starlink is running up there on top. It's the reason you'll be able to see videos of this trip. You can see all of our stuff all loaded up. We're going to go all the way down the Baja Peninsula, down the coastline. Holly and Jenna, all of our stuff hanging off the back. We're going to go down the coastline on the west coast, loop around Cabo and up around La Paz, and then we'll come back up the east coast. This is more of a coastal trip. This is more about enjoying the beautiful scenery. We've got our snorkeling gear. I'm not sure if we'll be able to snorkel here on the west coast just because of all the waves don't really make it great for snorkeling, but as we're starting to come up that Gulf area on the east coast of the Baja Peninsula, we're hoping to get a lot of snorkeling in. Got the GoPro, so I'll be doing a YouTube on this whole adventure as well. And here we go. Follow along for the journey down Baja. this is what we've been waiting for. Got the machines out here on the beach, and we're gonna see how far we can drive down. I'm not entirely sure. Google Maps makes it look like, we use it for the satellite imagery, and I'll get some videos of us driving on the sand as well. But Google Maps makes it look like we can follow it a pretty good ways, so this is what we've been wishing for. We're finally off of that cliff edge and now on this big, long, beautiful beach. Jenna's taking pictures, Dad's getting some stuff out of the machine, and I mean, if we can ride on the beach for the rest of the trip, I mean, I'll be happy as happy can be. So we're gonna keep going. day 2. We have decided to go with a beautiful beach villa. As you can see, we're sitting here on the beach. There's some cool dunes down there. We're just south of San Quentin in Baja, California. And we got some little dunes that we were able to set up the tent behind. We're using the machines also as barricades for the wind. You can hear the waves crashing in the background. I don't know if you can hear the breeze through here, but it's just a nice, pleasant, steady breeze. Got the tents all set up. There's Jenna's, Dad's, and then where Holly and I are gonna be sleeping. So we're gonna sit back, relax, enjoy the view, watch a movie on the laptop, get some stuff charged, the GoPro and things like that, and we're gonna get up and get started again in the morning. So we did do 226 miles for the day. I forgot to look at the accumulative, so I'll give you guys that one tomorrow. But we're gonna get up in the morning, and actually we're heading down the beach. We're just gonna keep on going down for as long as we can until there's no more beach. So now all the little details of camp that we do really for our trips. Using the Milwaukee stick light is a nice sort of floodlight at night. Starlink on top. Instead of running it off of a 12-volt battery, because these batteries are super small, this is actually a M18 Milwaukee 6.0 M18 battery. So we're running 18 volts to 12 volts, 12 volts to 58 volts, and then we run into the router, which is in here, and Starlink up to there. Laptop runs off of a Milwaukee inverter, so we can keep the laptop running, and then put that on a 12.0 battery. So Dad's got the cooler over there with all the food in it. He got his feet wet today, trying to tell the temperature of the water. So all that's finally drying off. My sweatshirt got a little wet when I drained the cooler. It dripped down and got my sweatshirt wet. So we're gonna eat dinner, watch a movie, and go to bed.
Look at the pieces coming off that. Oh, it's a Boeing.
No, it's not a Boeing, it's a Meteor. God, look at that thing burn. So, came across something a little unexpected. I know we're in the desert, but the size of the cactuses here are unbelievable. Like, look at Holly standing next to this cactus, if you can even see her. Yeah, she's right there, really right before the branches start to come out. I mean, this thing is huge. Now I've seen, yeah, it's a cactus. It's gonna be a little spiky. I've seen big trees, but I bet you that sucker's probably 30 foot tall on a cactus. I don't know where Dad is. I guess he's back there somewhere. The dust is probably killing him. So I just want to get out and stand next to one. And it's huge. Maybe we'll see what else we'll find out here. Quick little lunch break. We are now 40 miles away from the asphalt, trying to follow a coastline road. So it goes in and out from the coast, but just beautiful down here in this valley. quick little stop to look at the map, just making sure we're going the right direction. We've been trying to come down this coastline, as you can see, and we're continuing over. This is the trail that we've been running on. It's not, you can kind of see it down through there. There's a lot of lefts and rights. We're using the map to get like a general concept of direction, and then we're zooming in on Google Maps to really, because you can see this trail that we're following, so we're using it to really narrow down exactly where to go. Sometimes we make wrong turns and got to turn around, and sometimes the trails are not what we thought they are, and then you got to watch out for the creeks and the washes, or what would be a creek when it rains is really just a wash right now, and it looks the same color as the road. So the fun thing, I guess the girls are going to go over there and take a look off the edge of that bank there, and we're going to keep going. living life of luxury now. We got clean clothes. They got a shower over there. It's now been 5 days since we left the house. And man, that was a day and a half in the truck. And then, what's that, 3.5 days on the machines? There was a pile of dirt underneath me after I had showered. Poor Jenna was showering, and they ran out of water on the tank on top. So they had to turn the one on over there to pump up. But my hair was feeling like it was ready to start making some dreads out of it. And the clothes left just the same amount of pile of stuff underneath it. We're getting ready to cook some, what did we get, Holly? What was the name of that stuff?
Chorizo.
Yeah, we accidentally bought chorizo thinking it was pre-cooked. It was not, which we realized after we opened it. So Dad's got the pan out. We're gonna cook that up real quick. That's gonna be our dinner for the night. We're gonna hit the road again in the morning with clean clothes on. Hopefully all of our stuff here dries. The flies are pretty bad, but other than that, life's been pretty good. So that's what's called the silt bed. And this stuff is just, it's so powdery that it almost moves like water. It's absolutely amazing. It will fill the cab completely up with dust. Thank goodness our intakes for the engine are from the roof scoop, so we haven't had any problems with that, but it is just some nasty stuff. This is the worst spot that we found so far, so I wanted to get a video of Dad going through it. Now we're gonna dust all the dust off of ourselves after we're nice and clean. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the dust way up there, but it is just nasty.
So I slowed down I've been watching you.
Yeah,
That dust was as tall as that mountain right there.
I'm sure. this is camp for the night. We made it through Cabo, San Lucas today, and we're headed up around the peninsula there, coming up to La Paz, and then we'll start coming up the east coast side of Baja, California, where our big concern is going to be the heat. The west coast with the Pacific Ocean helped keep us cool, but as we started to come around that peninsula up towards La Paz, we immediately started to feel the humidity. Now, for us being from Georgia, the humidity just feels like home, but with the temperatures today, and I don't know what they are because the machine doesn't actually tell you what the ambient air temperature is, but it felt like it was probably 95, 100 degrees, maybe 80% humidity. So we're sitting out here on the beach right now. Beautiful views. The beach actually ends just right over there at those mountains and doesn't start back for a little while. And the sun's getting ready to set over the mountain. We got the tents all set up. It is pretty windy. It has been really windy all the nights until the sun goes down, and then the winds calm down a lot. So we're hoping it's gonna do the same tonight. But it's beer 30, and we're gonna sit back, watch the sun go over the mountain range there, watch a movie, go to bed, and do it again in the morning.
to find a good spot to get into the ocean today. So we jumped in it real quick, took a nice little shower. We're gonna get back in the machine and hit the road. It's actually the first time we've gotten in the ocean on the trip. The West Coast was too cold, and then we got to camp last night. It was gonna be too late. We knew we were gonna be cold if we were still wet when the sun went down. So we decided to wait. We just went in with our clothes on and everything, washed up the clothes. Dad and Jenna are ready. Holly's right there. She's taking a Snapchat. And I know it's hot enough today and the humidity is low enough. We'll probably be dry in the next 5 minutes. So here we go. last lunch spot in Mexico as we're getting close to Mexicali. We are sitting underneath the bridge because it's the only spot with shade out here in the desert. It's 106, I think it said, on the little heat map.
108.
108. Nice. We upgraded. So we wanted to find a nice cool place to just kind of take a breath, get out of the sun. The little zip ties are working out perfect. So with the little metal pieces, the door was only coming out about like that. And with the zip ties, we're getting them out like that. So we're really able to get some airflow inside the cab. It was miserable this morning. And we were trying to look at how to take the doors off, and that didn't really seem like a very feasible thing on the Maverick R. So we just put that zip tie on. Now I want to see if I can't get one of these little metal pieces that's like 12 inches long for any other trips we do. That 12 inches in the heat of the day would be killer if it's super, super hot out. This is the 5-inch piece right now, and it's done pretty good for most of it, but the 12 inches to get rid of the zip tie, because the zip tie is sort of a temporary thing. You got to cut it off in order to shut the door without the metal bracket. So we're gonna go up there and cross through the American border. We're finally back in America. Just went through the border crossing. It was about 111 degrees today, and it was probably 108, I'd say, while we're sitting there in the line waiting to go through the border crossing. We don't have AC. There was no breeze. I mean, it was absolutely miserable. So I just want to show you guys the machines. They are dirty. They are very, very dusty. I mean, it's got road film on them. Funny thing on, I think it was this rim over here, I was actually able to see it's got the tinting like brake dust. We've never seen that on the trips. And I don't know if it's because the Maverick R is just so heavy that we're finally able to see that, or if it was the fact that the only water we hit was where a little bit of sewage was running out into the road. So we weren't ever able to rinse anything off at all. Now the final trip total is 2,362 miles, which puts the odometer reading at 2,969 on the machine. You can still see we got everything all loaded up. We're getting ready to take a bunch of stuff off. We'll go ahead and empty those gas bags because we actually popped one on the way out from the heat. We'll take some of our other clothing stuff off as well, and we'll get them loaded up on the trailer. We're emptying out all of our personal items out of some of the little cubby holes, loading it back up in the truck as we get to do our 2,200 mile journey back to just north of Atlanta. So the truck is still here, which was a good sign. We weren't sure. That's one of the reasons we ended up parking it at a self-storage yard instead of out in the middle of the desert, is we were worried we were going to come out and not find the truck, and then that would be a little bit of a problem trying to figure out how to get these two machines all the way back to Georgia. So it's been a heck of a trip. We're gonna get them loaded up and we're gonna head on back. So we finally made it home, and here's the final clock on the truck. It is almost 1 o'clock on a Wednesday. Hold on, struggling here. There we go. 4,000 miles, 63.5 hours, 530 gallons at 7.6 miles to the gallon, which is pretty awful. But it is Wednesday, 1 o'clock in the morning. We did 1,206 miles today. Started at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's now 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're gonna go inside, have a beer, eat some food, go to bed. So we definitely slept in this morning, or at least I did. Dad got up at about 7:30. I got up at 10:30, got out of bed at 11. We really didn't end up, by the time you get back from driving, eat, shower up, it was 3 o'clock before going to bed. One of the things that I wanted to do when we get back, one, they were overdue for an oil change since we didn't do one on the trip, so this was a 2,400 mile oil change. I don't know the engine hours. I don't know what it was when we left, so I don't know what it is now. One of the things we didn't like is with all the weight, we squatted the machine down. And I can actually show you on the back, one of the issues that I had from the tail dragging like that is it damaged the skid plate just a little bit right here. Now, wanted to adjust the springs. I know you can replace them, but all I gotta do is move the collar down and then I'm good to go. Now, I really needed to adjust them after putting all the accessories on because that was a lot of weight added to the machine, and then with all the stuff on. So what I did is Dad went ahead and unloaded everything off of his, and I've almost got everything on mine. I'm missing a gallon of oil. I had 2 fuel bags. I left those out at the park, and I've now adjusted these. The back of this one needed to go up, let's see, it was 4.5 inches to be the same as that. So I actually ended up going 4 inches on the first try of adjusting these collars. And all you do is break this lock ring loose and then compress the spring, and you can screw this down and you'll raise that up. You can see roughly where this is sitting in comparison to Dad's. Now, one of the things I didn't like is where this set collar is to stop the sort of the softer spring. This is really what you ride on, this is what you jump on. Now I wanted to stop this spring, or this collar hits this and stops so you don't bottom out this spring. Now the problem with the way it was set up is this collar didn't have enough, or this spring didn't have enough tension on it, so this collar was sitting there smacking it, and you could hear it as you went over the bumps, and I'm sure you probably heard it in the video as well. But now with the back being adjusted and then the front being adjusted as well, it'll be interesting to see after I go take all my stuff off, how much higher am I than Dad. It rides really smooth with it right now, but what I don't want is it to be too top heavy when I take all the stuff off. So we'll just kind of have to see on that. Same thing on the front. The front was a little bit different. I did leave the shock on. It was a pain in the butt. Jack it up, pull this bolt out, lift this A-arm up. That put this notch up here, and then I was able to just barely get in there. And using a flathead and a hammer, I was able to break the lock ring loose, clamp down on the spring with some spring clamps I've got, and then spin the collar down by hand, set the lock ring. What we typically use is I'll find an extension that fits in a place, and that's what I use as my measuring device. So it's always the same. You can't read the tape a little bit wrong there. So I've got those sort of sitting to the side, both for the front and the back. And I'll do that on Dad's as well, so that they're both exactly the same. So now I'm gonna get mine unloaded, washed up, and we'll see how it looks.